Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Sunwest Mortgage Company is a family-owned mortgage banker with operations both in the United States as well as the Caribbean, and they focus on mid to low income home loans. So with me is the CEO, Pavan Agarwal, to explain the company and kind of where you go from here. So welcome. And I was surprised to hear you've been around for decades. So give me a little history of Sunwest.
Well, sure, Jane, and thank you for having me. So Sunwest, my father started the firm in 1980. And we've basically been focused on just delivering quality service and connecting with every single family and caring about every single family. And in that long, steady, continuous process of how we serve our community, we've grown across the country. And now in that process, we have learned to connect both human to human and human to technology. So what we're launching now is something very exciting that we call empathetic technology. And I believe we're the first to launch empathetic technology, a practical application of it. It's been in the laboratory for years. So we have a first real working ability for a computer to interact with you in a way that you lead and you direct the system, especially on a very personal situation like a home mortgage where you're discussing your finances. We put you in control as opposed to the computer being in control. And
So explain how that works a little bit. So say I want to apply for a mortgage. How is the process different with you and this new technology than it would be in a traditional mortgage application?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the process is you have a conversation with it, and you go at your pace, and you tell it what you need, and it responds. It understands your inflections, and it responds accordingly. And it's very much like talking to a human loan officer, and you get that same level of service and care, but it's technology driven. And so you're not stuck on rigid forms, and that's particularly important in families that are underserved, in whether your family living with autism or your family with you have some disabilities, or veterans with first-time home buyers. There's a lot more to your story than just a couple of numbers. Right? Credit score, DTI, income, that is simple and easy for the very affluent borrowers, which we serve as well. But we deliver that same high-speed, high-touch service to the full spectrum.
Yeah. And then we've clearly seen interest rates on the rise, in particular over the past couple of weeks. How has that impacted your business?
Well, I think the market has changed significantly over the last 18 months, 12, 18 months. And the rising interest rates, we went from 6 months ago, or even a few months ago, from 6, 7 offers, 10 offers on a property, which we solved that problem with what we have a true approval product. But we went from 6, 7 offers to now 1 or 2 offers. And it's actually, in a way, although premiums have gone up a little bit, it's actually in a way helping lower income and middle income families, people with FHA financing, because they're not competing with as many offers anymore.
That makes sense. And does the technology you're using help with fair lending?
Yes, that's a great question. So here's the thing about fair lending. I personally don't believe that you can achieve equality in lending unless you have equality in service. So everyone talks about fair lending, but can you serve that borrower who's had, for good reason, life events? But the key is that borrower loves his house. Okay, can you serve that borrower equally with the equal level of service and attention as the borrower, as the affluent borrower who, nothing wrong with that affluent borrower, right? He's got 20, 30% down and near perfect credit, but can you serve both of them with the same speed and care, right? And that's where our technology bridges the gap. And if you can serve them both equally and with the same level of attention, and you understand, if you as an organization understand that that person loves his house and he's not going to default, right? Then that's the person you're supposed to do a loan to.
Okay.
So our one of our underlying philosophies and how we underwrite and how our decision process works is that, would you lend your money to this customer if it was your own money? Right. So everyone in the organization, the way we look at it is this is money in my pocket. Would I lend it to him or her if it was your own money and not, investors' money or not, government insured money?
Oh, thank you so much, Pavan, for joining us and telling us about Sunwest.
Thank you, Jay. Cheers.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Berry, and this is your Secure Privacy and Security segment with Alain Ghiai, the CEO of Sekur Private Data. Welcome back, Alain. How are you doing today?
Hi, Anna. Doing great. And hi to our viewers out there.
All right. So I just got a warning from the State Department of Health, basically informing us how to secure our devices for travel and vacation. And we've been doing that on our show for the past few months. So let's talk a little bit about this because it's obviously a big deal. We're all going to be traveling and we're all vulnerable to some type of cybersecurity breach. This one talks about checking your settings, password protection, update your software. Tell us a little bit about some of your tips and how we can protect our data.
Yeah, it's always nice when the government gives you good advice. In this case, it's extremely sound advice. You said Oklahoma, correct?
Yes.
Well, they're smart over there. That's the difference, right? It's a state that really understands how things work in life. And obviously in cyber attack, they did their homework. So yeah, so settings, that's interesting that they mentioned that because very few people mention settings. And the thing is that a lot of time when you update a software or you buy a new phone or you update the software on the phone, whether it's an Android or iPhone, you forget that you need to recheck your privacy settings because those are reset sometime to what they call factory level or whatever, or sometimes they don't touch it. When you update, for example, WhatsApp, which unfortunately a lot of people still use, every time there's an update, I know for a fact that they reset the privacy rating to their advantage. So you have to go back in, reset your privacy settings and so forth. So what it means is you go to settings on your phone and check all the privacy. One of the things would be when you have a lot of apps, you should basically, a lot of time they ask you for your location settings. And that's a new thing because there was so many complaints that finally they had rules against companies mining your location. I mean, the first one that got in trouble, and that was very public, years ago was Uber. So now they have this thing, and that was a huge thing. They were basically getting people's location and all that for big data. Now what happens is when you have an app, it tells you, do you want to give permission whether it's location, contact, photos, etc., at all times or while the app is in use. And that's a smart thing, because when you use an app, unfortunately, you will need to grant access to your camera. I mean, if you take a photo and you want to store it, or if you share something from your phone that has a photo, you have to give that app permission. You don't have a choice. So I would always recommend privacy settings galore on as much privacy as you can. Obviously, location setting turned off, meaning you don't want to give your location out, except maybe if you're on Uber, obviously the driver needs to know where you are. And then when other application, always only while using the app. I mean, it's a simple thing to understand, because it should tell you on my Android, on my Samsung, it tells me while using the app or all time or never. So just do while using the app. So that's one thing. Settings is big.
I caught myself the other day when I was traveling in the airport, and I was about to, and I thought, no, Alain says don't do it. I'm not going to take that chance and put my information at risk like that. You know, these are great tips, and there's so many more, and we try to always cover this, but it's like you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? And that's exactly what SKUR is doing. It's making people who are more aware of their data and their privacy, and then they can take this tangible action by incorporating your services into their everyday lives. So give us a little overview of what you do.
Sure. What SKUR does is we create secure communication tools. So we have a secure and private email service for consumers and businesses. You can migrate your domain to us. You can migrate your old Gmail or what you want into SKUR and then just use SKUR, although we do recommend to always have one of those free big tech email for sending your email to these, subscription places, and then keep your @SKUR email private more. We have a messaging application called SKUR Messenger. Very unique feature is that it doesn't require your phone number, so hackers can't get in and discover you every time. Like on these other applications, you can chat with somebody who doesn't have SKUR by using chat by invite with SMS or email. You can go to sekur.com support and tutorial. We have videos showing how to use chat by invite, because typically if you use a chat service, the other person needs to have the same app. With us, they don't need to. And it explains the whole thing. We also have the same thing with email. You can send SKUR send email. So if you have somebody like a bank, a doctor, a person, anything, any kind of info that you send, tax returns. I mean, the other day somebody was telling me about some kind of financial document because they're refinancing their mortgage. Use SKUR send. The mortgage broker will be able to click, see your information, and use SKUR reply. And that information only transacts in our Swiss server environment and is not all over the net, like all of these big tech cloud, like, Google, Microsoft, AWS, that are being hacked all the time, that we read all the time about. So that's a very unique feature. We're also launching a VPN. I remember you mentioned, I know on the email, the Department of Health mentioned use a VPN. Our VPN is going to be very particular because it will be only in Switzerland. You'll have multiple IP, because when you use VPNs, most of them are hosted on a big tech platform because they have multiple locations, and it costs a lot of money to have infrastructures in 100 countries. So, and when you change location every time, there's a downside. So you're being vulnerable. You're opening the tunnel by the time you go, let's say, from a New York location to Venezuela or whatever, or Argentina, wherever you switch around, and basically a hacker can get in. So we only have one location, multiple IPs. It's going to be very unique, private, and no matter where you are in the world, it'll just show that Swiss IP address. And we hope to have it by November of this year. It's an amazing tool, and that'll give you the extra privacy. So if you go to e-banking, nobody will be able to get in and hack your system because you'll connect through our VPN.
Well, these are great services, and we've been talking for over a year now, and it seems like you are just upgrading. Each time we talk, there's a new service you're providing for these new issues that we're all going to face at some point. So you're on top of it, Alain. Thank you, as always.
Thanks, Anna, and thanks everyone for watching the SKUR segment.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from Aitx. Visit aitx.ai.
PetVivo is advancing animal health through innovation. Specifically, it's medical devices and therapeutics for companion animals. And with me is Mark Middleton, who is the National Sales Director at PetVivo. Welcome, Mark.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great to talk to you. What's the strategy with the sales team? Is it geographic, or how is that all designed?
Yeah, well, since we're a new startup, we got all hands on deck, and there's a lot
I know,
going on. I mean, I'm telling you, but the core management team was one of the appealing things to me when you looked at their background in the medical industry from the human side and their connections there. Yeah, from the CEO down through the CFO, through the COO to the scientist. Very, very, very smart people. And we've got a good core group of people now that we're building around in business development. So yeah, when you look at that core group, we have a team of people that understand the financial side, understand the science side, and understand this growth side. Because a lot of times when you're growing a startup, and I've had that a couple of times in my career, patience, persistence, and follow through are the key. And a lot of people in the Wall Street world and may not have a lot of patience because they want to see activity right now.
That's true.
Well, a lot of times that's not the best move.
Yeah.
But yeah, this company is got the right pieces in place now. We've got a few more to add, but for an all naturally derived product, it will help a lot of situations in medical outcomes.
So is that really the thing that most impressed you about Spring, was the naturalness of it? And I mean, is that what drew you to PetVivo?
I think, Jane, there's a couple of main reasons that was so intriguing to me about PetVivo. Number one, I like the core group of managers because their backgrounds. But number two, this product, Spring with osteocushion technology, is so disruptive, but it's disruptive in a positive way. A lot of companies will say, well, we've got disruptive products, and they'll grow the market. Well, this isn't a knockoff. This is not a generic. This is not a pharmaceutical. It's a naturally derived product made in the U.S., researched and developed for nearly 20 years in the U.S. market. And it's disruptive in the sense that it's absolutely going to improve medical outcomes for patients that the veterinary physicians are seeing every day. And it's going to grow the market overall for a naturally derived components that have the scientists inside of PetVivo have learned how to put them together and have a long period of duration for joint and lameness issues. It's very exciting. And the fact that it's manufactured in the U.S., all naturally derived components out of the U.S. When you just look around the last 2 years of our world and how disruptive our everyday life has been, Jane.
Oh, yeah.
You think about all the sourced products from overseas and the difficulty. Well, this is a U.S.-based company, U.S.-based research, and now being marketed to the veterinary physician to help medical outcomes for patients. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Oh, well, great to hear about it, Mark. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk more about your role at PetVivo.
Well, I'm very humbled, and thank you very much for your questions. And I'm humbled to be here and excited for the veterinary community to get their hands on this tool, because it's going to help them. It's exciting and it's naturally derived. Thank you, Jane. Have a good morning.
You too.
Bye-bye.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by Red Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by Red Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from Aitx. Visit aitx.ai.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
Smiles 23 is a company focused on making sure executives have the best physical presentation that they can. And with me is Dr. Lee Gause, the CEO of Smiles 23 and also CEO Smiles, which is a project of Smiles 23. So explain what that's all about.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a dentist by trade, but Smile 23 is an exciting project where we're attempting to roll up very high-end dental practices. And in those practices, we're defined by the highest quality of care, leading technology, and customer experience. And we are excited about telling our story through CEO Smiles. And in CEO Smiles, we want to take a deep dive into the smile of a CEO and pick apart what characteristics of that smile actually make it different.
So why is that important?
Why is a smile important?
I mean, we know it's good, but for a CEO, how does that make a difference?
Okay, so why is a smile particularly important for a CEO? CEOs have to be able to demonstrate confidence. And I think out of all facial features, eyes, skin, hair, there's nothing that projects confidence like a smile. Even, you kind of want your CEO, in my opinion, to have a little gray hair, maybe a wrinkle or two, but you definitely want them to be able to project confidence during the pitch and to disarm during negotiations. And I think a smile is the quickest way to get there.
Yeah. I mean, it does show confidence, warmth. People I think can relate to you. They're not intimidated by you if you're, smiling a little bit. So it might be a good thing for negotiations.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think people and for years have been focused on the Hollywood smile and how can they look like their star, but I think now more than ever, people really want to emulate this CEO that they're a fan of. And I've been privileged over the years to help construct and design some of the smiles for CEOs, CMOs, COOs, founders, and I've been privileged to see kind of how their smile has been part of their journey.
So I'm thinking straight teeth, white teeth. Anything else? Like, is there anything I'm missing?
Missing is the key word.
Okay, so
all of them there.
Yeah.
So 80% of adults are missing at least one tooth.
Interesting.
And now there are so many technologies that are coming to the forefront especially robotic dentistry, which is allowing people to replace missing teeth. So absolutely right. I think people have gotten it right with straight and white through clear aligners and through teeth whitening, but there's so much tech coming in robotics that's really interesting.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. So what can robotics do? How are they changing dentistry?
Well, we have to think about who places a screw better, a robot or a person. I'm personally really excited about where robotics are going to influence dentistry. Robotics are already heavily in medicine and in surgery, and robots can, with the assistance of a doctor, place dental implants. I think a lot of other procedures are going to be coming down the line, and this is amazing because it's going to greatly influence access to care and quality of care.
Yeah, and maybe bring the price down a little bit as well, since there's
100%
to it. So.
Price comes down, quality goes up, and it's just amazing.
So what should someone do if they're considering, what should be the first step that they take if they're an executive and considering improving their smile?
Well, virtual consultations became a real thing over the past 2 years. So now a virtual consultation is part of almost every dentist's workflow. So that's a great place to start. You can talk about your smile, and we all know from Zoom calls that you can actually see someone's teeth pretty well on a Zoom call. There's actually a dental term that came about called Zoom call anxiety, which is actually related to the way a person's appearance, because the Zooms really show facial features really well.
Oh yeah, that lighting, like that can be a killer sometimes on those Zoom calls. And finally, like what's a price range for something like this?
Well, dental implants at present are roughly $5,000 a tooth. A full arch rehab can range from $20,000 to say $100,000 or even $120,000. But I think with the technology that's really, really close, I think the prices of dentistry are really going to come down, and the quality in the mid-market is really going to come up.
It'd be very interesting. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.